So when I was 30 years old, that's when I started Pace Butler Corporation. I had an idea, I took action, and I stayed committed. In the first 4 years of the business, I didn't make any money at all, zero. I borrowed money and I rented out rooms in my house in order to exist.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Underdog Anthem. I am so glad that you would join us. This is our first Underdog interview with my friend Tom Pace, and I am excited that we get the chance to dive into his story a little bit. Incredible story. You're going to get to hear about what took him from an underdog, a time in his life where he felt broken, to multi-millionaire. And so let's just go ahead and dive in and tell me a little bit about yourself. Help me to understand a time when maybe you felt like an underdog or where you've been in your life.
I think I got my self-image as an underdog when I was in elementary school. I had an older brother, a couple of years older. He was great in school, he loved school. I really struggled with school. I think I had a learning disability in elementary school. We were in a school that I was having a tough time, and they told us between second and third grade that we were going to move into another school district that was going to be a lot more difficult, and I probably would not pass. They'd probably have to hold me back a year. And then I had an issue with sight. I couldn't see the chalkboard. I needed glasses. I've had surgery now, so I don't need glasses, but between the class of third and fourth grade, I got glasses, and they were really thick, and so I really needed glasses. So not only did I have a belief system that I wasn't going to do good in school, but then it was reinforced with the fact that I couldn't see. So I made lousy grades in school, C's, D's, and F's. I felt like I wasn't as attractive as other kids. I didn't really fit in the family. I just always have been just kind of a misfit, not only an underdog, but also a misfit.
Awesome. And elaborate maybe a little bit for me, where are you at right before you started your company? Kind of where you were before you started this journey to success?
Well, before I started my company in 1987, so a long time ago, and I had over 25 jobs by then, easily. I started working at an early age in life because I really got a lot of pleasure out of working. I was mowing lawns at 12 years old. I sold door-to-door products when I was younger than that. I've had a lot of different jobs: restaurants, trucking, oil field, golf course. I mean, tons of experience. So when I was 30 years old, that's when I started Pace Butler Corporation. I had an idea, I took action, and I stayed committed. In the first 4 years of the business, I didn't make any money at all, zero. I borrowed money and I rented out rooms in my house in order to exist.
Man, so you definitely, when you started off, there wasn't a lot of things in your life that kind of pointed toward you were going to succeed. It was just a dream and ambition and belief in yourself. I mean, where did that come from? Because you had shared that there was this season of always feeling like a misfit, but where did the belief that you could actually follow through came from?
I've always had a leadership quality, and my definition of leadership is real simple. You got to have followers, and I've always had other misfits that followed me. When I was 16, I had a really great lawn mowing business, and I had several guys working for me. We had 2 different crews. We mowed a lot of lawns. Didn't know a lot about business, didn't know about taxes, didn't know about insurance, but we had a lot of fun. We mowed a lot of lawns from age 16 to 18. I had a major challenge, and one of the major challenges that I've had is I didn't really learn how to read until I was 26. So the way I graduated high school was by cheating. I read at about a 4th grade level when I was 26. I could read a newspaper, some of it. I couldn't comprehend a lot of it. It was really difficult to fill out an application, spelling. Even today, I'm not really sure of the alphabetical order of the alphabet. It doesn't seem to really stop me. And I've read a lot of books, well over 850 nonfiction books. Reading is extremely important, and that's helped me to develop a much healthier self-esteem.
Awesome. So some of those ideas and philosophies that you picked up from leaders and successful individuals before you kind of helped to contribute to where you were going, kind of helped to contribute to, okay, if they could do this, then maybe I can do this. Maybe I can fix my life and get myself on track. Is that kind of...
You know, one of my favorite movies is Rudy. You know, Rudy Rudiger. You know, that's a great movie. I've probably watched it over 50 times. You know, and I've read a lot of biographies and autobiographies of people that have been successful, that have, you know, were misfits also. The guy that started a printing company, a copier company, Kinko, he wrote a book, an autobiography about how he transitioned from being basically an angry, not very successful student into developing Kinko's, which he ended up selling to Federal Express. So I learned a lot, and when I read a book, especially an autobiography, I really feel like I'm a part of the book.
Yeah.
And it really helps me. It motivates me.
That's awesome. That's super good. So before you had some of these, or once you started to get some of these successes in there, did your underdog moments kind of stop there, or have you had, you know, pitfalls or deserts since then, or what would have been some of those times that you've had to overcome since you've been successful?
Well, one thing, I believe that success is temporary. It doesn't last. I mean, to me, success is in achieving a worthwhile goal. Once I achieve the goal, then I need to set another goal. If I can't sit on my experiences or my past victories. So I'm always, and I feel like a misfit a lot, even today. I feel like an underdog a lot. I compare myself to others, and it really frustrates me. A friend of mine, he started a business 10 years after I started, or maybe 15 after I started my business, and he's a multi-billionaire. And I'm just a multi-millionaire, and it's, you know, I'm like, why did he get to do this and why didn't I? And that envy and jealousy doesn't help at all. But I'm still a misfit. I still get depressed. I still have mood swings. I've definitely not arrived.
Yeah. That's interesting, because we were running the other day, and one of the things you were talking about on the run was a constant stress level and kind of working through it. And somebody that you knew, it takes them all day to work through it, where some of those routines or disciplines in your life have helped you to work through some of that, those self-esteem issues a little bit quicker throughout the day. So what are some of those disciplines that you think have been core contributors to your success?
Definitely, without a question, one of the most important disciplines I have, or routines I have, is waking up at the same time every day. 7 days a week, same time, every day. Another is to realize that most of my problems are of my own making. Now, I got a lot of problems in my life today, and I've chosen the problems that I want to have. Where I work, who I'm married to, where I live, how many kids. I mean, most of the problems I have, I'm the one that created them, and being responsible for that. So getting up at the same time every day really helps. I used to get up at 2:30 in the afternoon. Really hard to be successful getting up at 2:30 in the afternoon unless you're a nighttime bartender or something. But now I get up in the mornings. I have about 2 hours before I leave the house. I have a lot of routines that I do during that time to get me on the right track.
Awesome. So one of the core disciplines you would say would be waking up at the same time every single day. And then another one you mentioned was reading books. And so reading books is huge. It's been a monumental change to my life. I know it's been a monumental change to his. He's been a huge impact in getting me on track for reading books and learning and gaining information and consuming podcasts and content and YouTube channels, things that help you grow. And so what is one of the most influential books that you've read?
Well, one book I've read the most, I've read it over 125 times, is The Purpose-Driven Life, written by Rick Warren. The first edition is 40 chapters. The second edition is 42 chapters. I've not read any book that many times other than that. There's been so many really foundational books that have helped me. But that would be the one that I've read the most, and I read it this morning. I read a chapter a day with exception. So it takes me 44 days to read the book from cover to cover, reading everything in the book. Every word in the book takes me 44 days.
Wow, that's incredible. I don't know very many people who have devoted that much time and attention into a single goal. So I can imagine how impactful that book has been for you. And again, another one of those things that you've rubbed off on me. And that book has had a monumental impact in my life. I've read it multiple times and been through it. It's been phenomenal to see. And so in light of your story, in light of where you're at now and where you started, what are some things that you really wish you would have known starting out compared to starting with nothing and just a couple books?
I wish I'd have read more. Also, I wish I would have established better routines from the very beginning. I used to think if you had a routine, then you really would be like a slave to your schedule. And what I found out is the more routines I have, the more freedoms I have, because I don't have to think whether or not I'm going to do it. On Mondays, I run. Mondays at 4:30 I run. I don't have to think, well, what's the weather like? Am I going to run? My philosophy is there's no such thing as bad weather. There's only bad clothing. So I dress appropriately. I run I run when the temperature is 7 degrees and it's icy. And I run when the temperature is 107 degrees. So I run. I don't have to think about it. I know that I'm going to run at 4:30 on Mondays. I know I'm going to run at 4:30 on Wednesdays. I know I'm going to run on Thursdays. I'm going to run on Saturdays. I'm going to run on Sundays. So I'm running 5 days a week. One of the things that I believe is that if I have a routine and I'm going to change my routine, I need to change it with a better routine. So getting up at the same time in the morning is a very important routine. Taking my vitamins, taking my protein shake at the same time every day is good. I do push-ups every morning before I leave the house. I do 150 push-ups in the morning. I didn't start at 150 push-ups. I started at, probably 10 or 15, and I just worked up because I want to be in great shape. And knowing my priorities, I think I really didn't understand the importance of what my priorities are. Today I know what my top 5 priorities are. And so then I can make a decision whether or not I'm going to spend time doing something that's not in my priorities.
Man, that's so good. Do me a favor. If you're watching right now, go ahead and go down into the comments and let me know. He said the 2 things he wishes he knew when he first started were better routines and better priorities. And so drop a comment below and let me know, what are your priorities right now? What are some routines that you think would take you from an underdog story into that next level? And so just a little fun question here. If you were to get, let's say $1,200 in a stimulus check that just kind of showed up at your doorstep, what is something you would do if you didn't have great financial value? What are some things you would do with that money to put it in the right places rather than just go buy a TV or something like that?
Well, the very first credit card I got, I was 26 years old. And it took me 7 or 8 years to pay it off. And during that time, I was charged 18 to 21% interest. So if I got a stimulus check and I had any credit card debt, I would pay it off. I would put the whole check towards paying off my credit card debt.
Yeah, I think that's a great philosophy. I know I've been in debt before. When I first met you, Tom, I was tremendously in debt. I remember I was walking out back. We were walking around the building at Pace Butler, and I was driving this car that I paid way too much money for. And the first thing that you told me was, you need to return it. Like this is silly that you're driving this car at your income level. There's absolutely no reason for it. You need to return it. And it was probably one of the best decisions I made. I was paying $400 to $500 on a car payment at 18 years old. And then I went from that to a car payment that was only $100 a month, which was substantial. To gain $400 a month to my income helped me to pay down some of those other debts. And so what a great place to put that money, a great way to get yourself just gaining momentum. The whole thing is, how do I just start to gain momentum? And so if I put you in front of an audience and I said, this is the last time you're ever going to get to speak to a group of people and you have 5 minutes to just give them some value, what is something that you would want to say in that 5 minutes?
Well, I think I would want to say Jesus came to earth to serve, not to be served. And so my philosophy is simple. The more I give, the more I live. And I don't mean just giving money. I mean giving my strength, my effort. What can I do to make the world a better place? What can I do to make my relationship with my wife better? What acts of service can I do for her? what can I do to be a better employer? What can I do to be a better disciple of Jesus? By giving my time, by giving my efforts, by giving my intelligence to whatever it is. Also, giving money too, and being practical about the way I give money. Because I am a multi-millionaire, but I don't just have a lot of extra cash. Things are invested in real estate, they're invested in stocks. But what can I do to give? How can I give? One of the things I do every day, or try to do every day, sometimes I miss it, is pick up 5 pieces of trash. That's giving my time to pick up trash. Because when I was a kid, I used to throw litter out the car. So today, I pick up trash. What's another thing I can do is smile at somebody and say hello. I can just give a smile, I can say hello. That's a form of giving. I can listen. One of the things is I'm a fixer. I want to fix things. A lot of times people just need to be heard. They just want somebody to listen to them. And so that's a way to give, is just by listening. So the more I give, the more I live. And that's my philosophy. So that's what I do.
That's so good. I remember we were getting ready to run a marathon, and I was walking with you through the Marathon Expo, and I looked over and I said, Tom, if you didn't give so much to people who didn't contribute anything back to your life, you would be worth so much more money. And you stopped and you looked at me and you said, Josh, the more you give, the more you live. I wouldn't have a more net worth because I'm rich because I give. I'm rich because I'm able to do these things. And so help the whole hope of this channel is to help people understand that no matter where you're at right now, no matter what you've been through, is that there is a way to get from point A to point B. Right? And so you've explained to them kind of point A, that you felt like a misfit, that you felt like you were an outcast, that you really struggled to find your place, and that you had 25 jobs before you started your company. And so you had substantial setbacks. So what are some things that you've accomplished now in your life that you look back on and you think, I would have never thought at 25 years old that I would be able to do these things?
Well, I just finished with you. We ran across the United States. We ran all the way from Jacksonville, Florida to San Diego. That's a pretty cool accomplishment. I also rode a bicycle from San Diego to Jacksonville. I started a business with $62.53, and it's worth millions of dollars today, and it employs a lot of people. Fewer now because of the virus, but we're working to get back on track. I wrote a book called Mentor, The Kid and the CEO, which is sold thousands and thousands of copies, and it's influenced a lot of people in a positive way. People that have self-esteem do esteemable things. And so these accomplishments I have can create envy, or they can inspire others. And for most of us, when somebody else accomplishes things, I get envious. I think, why did they do it and I didn't do it? But I really want to use other people's success to be an inspiration. So the key, I think, is I came up with an idea, something I want to do, and then I take action on it, but I have to stay committed at the same time. I, too, did some videos. I've done over 150 videos that they're on YouTube, Tom Pace Mentor, and so they're about 10-minute long videos, and I think those videos are making a huge difference in people's lives. They're about different things that I've dealt with. For instance, I drive a Lexus that was free. So, a lot of people would like to have a luxury automobile. If you go there and you look at the video, you can see how I drive a Lexus for free.
I'll link that YouTube channel in the description, and if you're watching right now, I encourage you guys, go ahead and click that link, go over to his channel, click subscribe. Huge influence on my life and so many other people. So, life is so much more than possessions. It's so much more than the stuff we have and the things that we gain. And you've had a super blessed life where you've been able to gain a lot and give a lot. But what would you leave behind if you couldn't leave any material items? What would your legacy be? What would you want your legacy to be remembered as?
Well, I think my legacy is the fact that I root for the underdog. I try to help other people to be successful. And I don't really need a building named after me or anything like that. The legacy is going to last maybe one generation, maybe two generations. The people that I invest my time and my efforts into helping them to become successful. That's the only legacy. My kids, a lot of times they'll say stuff that I've said, and hopefully they'll pass that on to their kids. But as far as you said, material stuff, I got nice material stuff, but I heard somebody say early on that security lies in what you can do without, not the items that you have, not the material stuff you have. So I can live a simple life, I could move from this really nice house with all the furniture and stuff, and I could live in a motorhome, or I don't think I'd do a tent. I think I could probably be a little more creative than living in a tent, but I might end up in a tent, probably not.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tom, for inspiring us, the underdogs out there who sometimes feel like we're not good enough. Maybe you're going through your own desert right now. Maybe you're just in a place where you feel like it's impossible. I could never achieve what he's achieved. And I want to tell you, because of his influence on my life, I'm further than I ever thought I would be. I mean, I was a drug addict, alcoholic, and in jail, broken. My whole life was wrecked. And because of him investing time and energy in me, my whole life has been transformed. And now I get to live a life that I only dreamed of. And so, Tom, I want to thank you so much for joining me on this channel and being my first Underdog interview. I hope you guys have a good one and enjoy this week.